Hey, strategic wealth preservation investors, it's Chris Vermeulen from the Technical Traders, and I want to give you a rundown of kind of the markets, the big picture of where we are using the monthly charts, because I think it paints a very clear picture of what potentially we should expect going forward. It's going to be very volatile for stocks and precious metals. All of this is a good thing, and you just have to understand where prices are going to be moving first before I think they have their second and most major rally going forward. So let's jump over to the markets really quick here. This is the SP 500 monthly chart. We have the COVID crash right over here. And then we've gone into this very strong bull market phase. And then we had 2022 was a bear market. And then, of course, we've seen a very strong rally over the past year as stocks have started to rebound back up. Now, a lot of investors and advisors are talking about how this is the market's reevaluated itself. It is starting a new bull market. I don't think we're anywhere near that. I think this is a complacency move where the market really trades sideways and upwards, kind of getting people to become bullish and start reinvesting. And then, of course, it ends up falling, going a lot lower to the downside. And a good view of this is if we go back, there's a couple good views here. If we go back to the 2007 market top, we had a breakdown in price on the chart, and then it had a complacency rally where market rallied up. And then eventually we went into a big stage 4 decline, which I'm going to show you here in a moment. A really good way to view this is the NASDAQ, because I actually think we're a lot closer to a NASDAQ type, like a 2000, 2001 bear market and market correction, and also the start of a new super cycle for the precious metal space. The NASDAQ and the tech bubble, you can see here recently, last year, we saw a 37% sell-off in technology and the growth stocks. We've seen a 53% rally from those lows. And while this has got a lot of people feeling really bullish, the reality is if we go back to the 2000 top, we had a 40% sell-off and a 44% recovery, retracement rally back up before we went into a multi-year swan dive and a huge financial reset, which if you look at precious metals, we'll go look at gold. If we look at gold at that same time frame going way back, 2000, 2001, 2002 was the major bottom for a gold super cycle that skyrocketed higher. The 2008 financial crisis was a 34% pullback in gold. It was a blip on its way up. And what I do think is going to potentially happen here is we're going to have a market correction, and we're going to see gold, silver miners, platinum, palladium have a bigger pullback and potentially come back down before we see a great big move. This correction in the stock market and precious metal space will be something similar to here. I do feel like we're already starting a super cycle to the upside. This is a big consolidation before we go a lot higher. And a good way to view this is if I show you the stages in a market. The market has 4 stages. Stage 1 is a basing, which is shaded red because it's kind of dead money. It's a difficult time to invest or trade. Stage 2 is a bull market, strong trend. Stage 3 is where stocks and commodities are. And then a stage 4 is a financial reset, a huge reset. Now it's green because it's a strong trend. We don't really care as technical traders if the trend is up or down. If there's a strong trend, we can benefit from that. And then after a stage 4, the markets have reevaluated precious metals, stocks, bonds, real estate, currencies. Everything's going to have a reevaluation event and move around. And it'll be the start of a new major super cycle for pretty much most asset classes. But precious metals should be one of the first ones to bottom and start and have one of the biggest rallies for 5 to 10 years to come after that. And what's really interesting is if we go back, if you look at the low here in gold in 2000 to 2022, if we go look at the US dollar index, the same time frame here, this is right when the dollar put in a major top. When there is a financial collapse and reset, we see the dollar typically rally. During the 2008 financial crisis, the US dollar put in a massive rally. That is part of the reason why precious metals drop. It's one of the reasons. There's also forced liquidation, margin calls, just people panicking, literally want to sell everything because they don't know what to do. But the strong dollar is what we could see. And we've already seen the start of a big move up. The dollar has pulled back, but I do feel like we are going to see the dollar as the stock market collapses and resets, continue to skyrocket, potentially to the similar levels we saw in 2000, 2001 and 2. And that means gold will fall, but then we're going to go into a multi-year decline in the dollar, and we're going to see precious metals take off as a defensive safe haven play and become one of those massive opportunities going forward to the upside. So that's what's really exciting. Let's take a look at gold real quick. So gold has been holding up the best. I'll just clear this chart here. Gold has been holding up the best, trading up near all-time highs for the past couple of years, and that's because it's seen as a global safe haven. It's a slower moving commodity, which means more investors are comfortable putting money into it, versus silver is volatile, platinum and palladium are volatile, gold miners, silver miners are volatile. You don't really want to plump down, millions of dollars of your life savings in something that can fall 30 to 50% in a heartbeat. You want to park your money into a commodity or a defensive play that is, a big day on gold is like a % move. It's much more stable and a better store of value. Now, as we move down the list for different precious metals, we can see as they become more speculative, they're nowhere near the highs. Gold is equivalent to trading up here. Silver is down pretty substantial from its all-time highs, down about 56%. And that's because it's speculative, it's volatile, and when it sells down, it sells down a lot more. Now, if we go and take a look over at palladium here, palladium has put in a big kind of topping pattern. This is known as a head and shoulders pattern. In price, you have a neckline more or less, and price is broken down. So we're seeing a big reset in palladium pricing. It just continues to sell off, down well over from the spike highs. It is down like 66%. If we take a look at platinum, platinum doesn't quite go back as far. This ETF particularly, these are ETFs based on it. They're not the price of platinum, but it mirrors the price. That's all that we need to know. The trend for platinum is also down, but it's trying to form a base, a lot like what gold and silver are doing. Again, if we look at silver, while it is down, it is building a base. It's kind of got a little launch pad through here. It's built a base. It's resting on it. I do feel like we're going to see all the metals eventually pull back with the markets, but I do think they're going to be on the upswing in due time once there is a financial reset. And a good way to take a look at gold, silver, platinum, and palladium is the ETF GLTR. Now, this holds all of the metals. And if you are a technical analyst and you look at chart patterns, this is all those metals together. And what do we get? We get a giant cup and handle pattern. And a cup and handle pattern is one of the strongest patterns, especially a multi-year, a decade-long pattern. The height of the cup going across here to the bottom can be measured. The upside potential can be 3 to 4 times this going up. So there is a lot of potential for the precious metals space across the board to eventually have a huge rally after this massive reset. So very, very exciting when we look at it from that regard. And one more angle to look at the markets here are the cycles within the markets. So if we take a look here, there's 2 cycles. The blue one is the stock market cycle. And then the yellow one is the economic cycle. Now, the stock market will always top out before the economy. It'll always bottom out before the economy because investors can see momentum shifting. They can see things changing. As companies start to lose, don't meet earning estimates, and they're downgrading their estimates, investors start to move away from stocks because they are worried things are getting weaker. And then, of course, it takes a couple quarters for the bad economic data to confirm we're in a recession. And then, of course, at that point, the stock market is already well underway. But what's most interesting here is the energy precious metals are kind of the last two commodities that do really well, the last two assets just before the stock market goes off a cliff and has a big stage 4 decline. Energy has been leading the way. Energy stocks have been on fire. Oil has been on fire to the upside. Precious metals, specifically like gold, has been trading at right up near all-time highs, not that far off percentage-wise, holding its value. And so the fact that these are doing that is an early warning sign that I think the music is about to stop, and there's going to be a huge opportunity to advance profit from falling prices and then be able to invest in precious metals and related products for when the market goes a whole lot higher for potentially 5 to 10 years after that in the precious metals space. So very, very exciting. And that's kind of my take on precious metals. If you like this type of analysis, you can always go to my website, thetechnicaltraders.com. I provide analysis like this every morning, a little bit more shorter term view, so you get an idea of the intraday and the daily and weekly charts. But that is my quarterly report here for strategic wealth preservation, and give you some expectations of what to expect as we go through the next quarter. I think it's going to be a rough ride for precious metals for a little while, but it is going to be a huge opportunity, I think, in the long run as the market resets and starts its next leg up for precious metals. Anyways, take care. Goodbye.